sometimes it feels really powerful just to realize and just to notice we're breathing. And following the rhythm of the breath and in and out, let your chest and belly rise. Here's Jumi. Oh my gosh, can't see, just see our ceiling. And chest rising and falling, belly rising and falling. There are a lot of definitions for mindfulness. One of them is to be able to stay in the present moment with positive feeling, with friendly feeling and friendly attitude towards whatever is happening right now. And right now is each breath. It could be a little shallow to begin with. Maybe your leg is sore like mine. Maybe the fingers are still quite heavy. Maybe there's uncomfortable position, and place somewhere just to send some friendly attention to that. Once we learn to be accepting to our own body, we start to ease down, and you might notice the tension fade away just a little bit. And the next breath, the tension fades away a little bit more. And continue with each exhalation. Allow the tension to leave slowly at a time. Hands become heavier, hips are heavier now, all the way to the feet. Now, very slowly, we keep the blocks there. You might want to lower down. Oh, here's Chloe. Maybe lower down one level. Maybe take the block away from the one underneath your chest. And then we slowly stretch our arms overhead. One. And the arm might not be coming all the way down. And then the other one. And we're going to continue going up and down with one arm and then the other. And with the chin tucked under and the support from the back of your neck, it's a little bit too high for me. So if it's too high for you, please just slow it down one. And you start to feel the lengthening of the back of your neck with the arms stretching and rotating. More blood flow going into your shoulder. Maybe with the movement of your arms, your breath is getting deeper and deeper. And we're going for maybe 3 more on each side. And feel free to stay a little bit longer on one side and move to the other. Here's our last one. And then bring both arms overhead now. Now your arms might not still touch the floor yet. You might want to bend your arms and maybe keep them straight. So add more and more pressure to the back of your neck, that area where the block is pushing up, the base of the skull. I like the massage there. You might feel more and more range of motion with those arms and shoulder socket. You might noticing the fingers is softening more and more. Expanding the chest and belly and let them narrow again. Just a few more very deep breaths here. On the very next breath, we're going to slide those elbows in toward the rib cage. So your arms are bending about 90 degrees. The back of your hands fall toward the mat. Chest lifting up. And stay there for a few more breaths here and give your arms and shoulders a little bit more time to ease down toward the mat. Noticing how your chest is lifting up toward the ceiling now. Now slowly we bend our knees. At the same time, maybe lift your hand and take that block away. The arms by your side and maybe start to windshield wipe the knees from side to side. It will get to the lower part of our body, our hips and legs. And just balance out left to right. One more side to side. And we find the centered position. Now take that block or a firm pillow or something like that and slide underneath your hip this time. Now this is optional. It might give you a little bit more extra feeling in the front of your hip. So you're gonna hug one knee in and stretch the other leg along. Again, do some circle with the feet this way and that way. And then we're going to switch and hug the other knee in and stretch the other leg out. Again, we do some feet circle. And on the next time, we hug the first knee in and we add a little bit of a pressure, a little bit of a strength and heat. So we're going to flex the bottom foot and then we bring it up, breathe in, exhale slowly down, maybe all the way to your heel. Your heel is on the floor. And breathe in, lift it up, breathe out all the way down. Breathe in and up, breathe out down. Now, if the block underneath your hip doesn't work for you, please slide away. We can also do it without the block. And we're going for one more up. And as we lower that leg down this time and bring your entire heel on the floor, relax the leg and make it a little bit longer. Start to feel the front of your hip. And maybe hug the other knee in a little bit more. So we're opening up the hip, one leg, then the other, somewhere in between. Slide them away from each other. Now, if you enjoy this feeling, we start to flex the foot of that bent leg and bring your hands inside of the knee and then start to let the leg fall out and start to feel some inner thigh stretch. If you are very flexible, you can catch your toe, you can stretch that leg out or support the leg from underneath. And on the very next breath, we slowly bring that leg back. We bend the knee and hug the other leg in and hug the other knee in. And the other foot to energize. And slowly we lift and breathe in. And exhale, we slowly lower it down. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. A few more of this. Going for 2. The very last one. Now we slowly relax that entire leg on the floor, make it really long. And hug the other knee closer to your chest too. Now again, when you're ready to release the other leg and maybe slowly bring your hand inside that knee and then let the leg fall out. Get some inner thigh stretch, or you can support from underneath. Or just take as far as your body agrees. And very next inhalation, we'll bring that leg back in. And then we'll ground both feet on the floor. Just gently lift the hip. If there's a block there, slide away. And from here, we're going to give our knees a hug first and just rock from side to side. All the way to one shoulder, maybe all the way to the other shoulder. And as we find a center position, we're going to place our fingers behind the head. So we support the head and breathe in. Open the chest and lift your low back off the floor, maybe feet on the floor. Exhale, we're going to squeeze into a lying down cat. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, push that space away underneath your back. I'm going for a few more. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, close. Go for 3. Going for 2. Going for 1. And slowly come back down and relax the upper body. Lift your knees over your hip and do some hip circle. Now we've spent a little bit of time turning on the belly already, so you might be able to energize your core a little bit more and lift that knee closer to the chest. Again, it serves as a massage for the internal organ. And then we circle the other direction on the very next breath. Let's go for 3 more this way. And last one. And then keep that knees over the hip. We're just going to bring it to one side. Push the opposite shoulder on the floor. You should feel that oblique and quite warm here. Bring all the way to the other side and just manually, intentionally anchor the opposite shoulder down. And you can bring your gaze from side to side away from the direction of the knees as well. And just to lengthen the entire side of the body. And on the very next breath, maybe stretch the top leg. Ooh, that feels so good, that outer thigh. And then we're going to bend it. And then go to the other side and stretch the other leg. Again, the outer hip. And then we're going to bring it back down to the first side and stretch it again if you want to. And to the center. And one more time, the other side. And center. And then as we meet on the first side, let the legs fall and see if you are, it feels okay to stretch the top leg. You might want to, again, wiggle a little bit to shift a little bit. See, I have a very sore side here, so this makes me feel really good. And you can keep the legs bent if it's really uncomfortable. All you want to feel is the outer hip right here. And can adjust the shoulders, and hopefully both of them will come down toward the floor. But if it's really coming off the floor, don't force it down. It's okay. And stretch the back fingertips away from the rest of the body and find that wonderful rotation. Now on the very next breath, we bend our both knees and bring the knees around, and we'll go to the other side. Again, we're doing the same thing, and just be aware this side might feel very different. So we're going to work with that side and see if you can still stretch the top leg, lengthen the spine a lot, and slowly, if both shoulder blades are willing to come down, then slowly we stretch the fingers away from the rest of the body, all the way to that toe. And on the very next breath, we slowly bend our both knees and bring the knees back to the center now. Now here's the option. You can hug the knees or the back of the leg, rock forward in the back, or you can rock from side to side. And slowly make our way up. You can take your time, you can decide how to come up. And then eventually we're going to come up into that seated position to find our way to our hands and knees. Just the hands and knees, a regular cat and cow. So they set the back into freedom. Let the back move, rounding and extension. And we're going for one more back and forth. And then we're going to take the weight off the hands. So if it doesn't bother you, you're going to sit back onto the heels and let your upper body rise. If it bothers you, you can sit between some blocks between your feet so you can come all the way up. It's okay. And then we take a big inhalation. If you're ready, we add the arms. And then slowly lace your fingers behind you. Draw the knuckles down toward your feet. And from here, we're going to tuck the chin under, a little bit more stretch for the back of your neck. Should feel pretty good right now. And breathe in, we lift the chin, open the front of the throat. Just make sure there's no pinch in the back of your neck. Breathing through your nose. And exhale, we close. Tuck the chin in toward the collarbone. Inhale, we open. And exhale, we close. Let's go for 2 more. Last one. Now from here, keep the chin tucked and start to draw a gentle semicircle with the chin to one side of the collarbone all the way to the other. Now, if this is too intense, you can always unlace the fingers and bring your fingers by your side. It should give you quite a bit of a sensation, especially if you have tight shoulders and neck all the time like I do. And feel free to circle all the way if your body lets you. Let's go for 1 more each side. And let's make our way back to the center. 1 more time, and just to lift your chest. And then keep everything back to the center from tail to the top of your head. And then we'll come back to our wrists. So slowly as we lift the hip off the legs and feel the blood flow going through, you can tuck your toes too. And this time we're going to turn the fingertips outward, hands still about shoulder width apart. And exhale, let's come back to that cat. And inhale, reverse. Exhale. And back and forth. Let's go for 1 more each direction. And let's find our neutral spine. And this time, and take the weight again off your wrists. And if it's okay, tuck the toes under and sit onto your heels. And then you can take the weight completely off your hands and just add body weight completely on the heel. Stretch the toes, the back of your toes. If it's too much, just come forward and support with your hands. Roll the shoulders back and down and stay here for a few more breaths. You can always turn the hands so the palms are facing the sky and see if that feels nicer for the wrist. And slowly, let's take the weight off the feet. And you can always tap a little bit to let the sensation run through, or you can just let the sensation run through. I'm going for 1 more. So turn the fingertips backwards toward your knees. And then maybe 1 or 2. If it's too much, just 1 at a time. And we're coming back to cat and cow. It's very different now. Quite a bit of a sensation as we round the spine. All the way around the arms, the front to back of the hands. Now, if you're on one hand, then maybe switch now. Now we're going for 2 more. And the very last one. Now from here, again, we find our neutral spine. Keep your 10 toenails on the floor. And then slowly as we come back, if your body lets you, you can always lift your knees and just to stretch the front of your feet. Again, you can rest your heavy wrists and hands on the thighs and let your fingers curl naturally. I'm going for one more direction for our wrists. So fin, I think it's called a fin push-up or something. It's like a fish fin. So we make fists and we place the back of our hands on the floor, fists are facing each other. But if it's really uncomfortable, you can just stretch your fingers out. Don't have to make fists. So this time your elbows are facing outward and lower down. And as we slowly push away with the back of our hands, you should start to feel stretching the back of the hands and back of the wrists. And then we lower down. Inhale, slowly we push back up. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, push up. Going for two more. And the very last one. Now, as we go all the way down, let's take some time, sit onto our knees and bring the knees apart, toes together, back to our first child's pose, and slide the upper body away from the rest of the body. And then just to test out how long the arms can be, you can always turn the palms so they are facing the sky. Allow your pinky fingers to connect. Now slowly we walk our hands back, and before we put any more weight onto the hands, feel free to have the blocks ready. We're going to come back up onto our knees. So I'm gonna face you now, and from here, place your hands into your back pockets, the imaginary back pockets, and squeeze your glutes so your hands will feel how strong those glutes are working, and start to push your hips forward and roll the shoulders back and down. And exhale, push your belly in and start to hinge forward. And breathe in. That hands just giving you a tactile feedback, and just feel how those muscles are contracting. And exhale, fold. So the muscles are smoothing out and lengthening. Now on the very next one, we start to come up. And then if you're ready, you can add your arms. And very next exhalation, hands in front of your heart. We're taking a bow. Inhale, stretch all the way up. And exhale, come back to that waiter's bow. And the next one, we rise. If you want a challenge, this is the last one. You can glue your arms by your ears and go into fold. Interesting how that small change will make it so much harder. And then breathe and then come back up again. And then from here, we're going to circle the right hand by your hip. Feel free to tuck your toes for that one. Find that gives you more center balance. But again, everybody's different. And the very next breath, we're going to slice and twist. Again, we fold through the pelvis and hands to the opposite knee, outside of the knee. And breathe in, we slowly rise. And breathe out, slice through, going for a little bit twist with the oblique. Now, next one, if your body is ready, slide the hand back to catch your heel. Reach high, a giant back bend, exhale, push your belly in, fold through your hip and start to slide through, going for 3 more. Breathe in, rise. Breathe out, slide through. Going for 2. The very last one. So as we rise again and start to add the other arm to join in, And if your body lets you, circle your both arms back. Maybe support your low back and maybe catch your heels. Now, there's a imbalance right now between left and right. Embrace that imbalance and just breathe. And then tuck the chin and gently push everything back to the center. So from here, we're going to stretch the leg. We're just twisting. We're going to stretch it to the side. And then again, breathe in and rise and breathe out, going to the other side. And so we can lengthen that side from fingers to toes. And on the very next breath, we're going to lower both hands and walk the hands all the way around to the other leg. Let your hip move the upper body. And from here, you can always have the blocks. So we're going for a leg stretch. It feels nice to stretch that leg. You can place the hands or blocks on either side of that leg. And maybe turn your hip a little bit closer to that leg. We're going to point the toes up and then push the toes down. And then point the toes up and do a bit of a circle with the foot. And maybe circle the other way as well. And last circle. And we're going to try again to turn the 5 toes way up toward the sky. And then we gently ease the back of the knee, the calf toward the floor. You probably feel a lot of sensation in the back of that leg. And then slowly we place the entire bottom of the foot toward the floor. If we can just touch the floor, that would be great. If not, not forcing it. I really enjoy this position. Maybe start to walk both hands with the blocks or without the blocks to the outside of that leg and getting a bit of rotation for the upper body. And slowly, let's make our way back. You can just leave the blocks where they are. Walk all the way back to the other side. Now let's head way down to the hands again. Push down to both hands. We send that back leg back to our first down dog. And feel free to pedal your feet. Relax the back of your neck. Maybe give your head a little shake. Yes, yes, or no, no. Now, on the very next breath, we slowly walk our hands and feet toward each other and come to the front of the mat. Oh, sorry, the middle. My shirt is covering my face. It's so uncomfortable here. On the very next inhalation, we walk our hands halfway. We'll come into tabletop. Exhale, we slowly fold. Inhale, we rise up one vertebrae at a time, all the way. Finally, we're standing. And exhale, we find our heart center. Let's find a chair. Maybe give your toes a little bit of a wiggle here and lift through the center of the feet to make sure tuck your tailbone in. The back of your neck is completely comfortable at this point. Belly is very strong. And on the very next breath, and start to hinge forward and fold back now. Maybe give your head a little shake. Yes, yes, or no, no. Further relaxing the back of your neck. And walk our hands and feet away from each other back to down dog. And we slowly lower down onto our hands and knees. And then we slowly lift back up onto our knees. So we're going to face each other again. We're going to the other side. And start with the basic one. Place our hands in that back pocket. And then we're going to lift. So push the hip forward. Lift your belly button. Then your chest and maybe your gaze. Shoulders go back and down. And exhale. Push the belly in first and fold through your pelvis. Hinge forward. Breathe in and we energize the back of your leg. Rise, breathe. Breathe out, we're going to fold. And the next one, maybe add the arms. And exhale, hands in front of your heart, we fold. Breathe in and we slowly rise. And breathe out, we fold. Very last one, breathe in now this time. Again, challenge. And exhale, keep your arms glued to your ears. Hinge. Breathe in, we rise again. Now we circle the left arm and bring it behind your back. And lengthen, lead with your chest. And exhale, we hinge and we slide through, going for the twist. Breathe in back. And breathe out, twist. Now again, the next one, breathe in if you're ready. And slide that hand back into rest on your heel. And exhale. Inhale, rise. And exhale, slide. Last one, breathe in. And breathe out. And this time as we rise all together, at the other arm now, the left and right should be more balanced if you want to. And you can come a little bit further down, hands landing on your heels or support the low back and wherever that works. You want to feel lots of thigh stretch right here, not too much pressure the back of your spine. And on the very next breath, we tuck the chin, push the belly in and start to come back to the center. And then we're going to round the back before we go even further. So we're going to lace the fingers, catch that beach ball in front of you, tuck the chin and push your belly in, push your chest in. Now breathing, flip the palm and slowly come back to that extension, push the ceiling away. And exhale, we round the shoulders everywhere. And inhale, we slowly come back up. Exhale. And inhale. And here's the very last one. And come back. And from here, we're going to stay in that giant beach ball pose. Now, if you enjoy it, maybe send your back of your hands to one corner of the room. So you're getting some stretch on one side and then bring it all the way to the other side and keep pushing your chest away from the fingers and going to one side. Keep your chin tucked and then push to the other side. It's like a when you blow those bubbles and they just stretch a little bit with the wind. And we slowly make our way back to the center and then we lift back onto the knee. So we take the other knee out to the side, ground the other hand, and we lengthen from the toes all the way to the fingers. And stretch the side of the body, you should feel really good. And slowly we lower our hands. We're going to go all the way around into the other leg. Again, can take the blocks with you. And again, we're going to turn the 5 toes up and check it how tight it is, maybe not quite, maybe really tight. And then bring the 5 toes down, just work on the condition of that ankle. And from here, we lift the heel and start to rotate that entire foot. And loosen it up. The front of the ankle should feel really good. And somehow this has become my favorite movement. It's just feeling really interesting and very airy, all the blood flow going in. I'm going the other side, the other direction for the circle. Now move the toes, the ankles, the fingers. We'll get the loosen up all the way to the toes, the meridians between the toes, the back of our feet, and just massage them all. And the very last circle, we're going to turn the 5 toes up toward the sky. And then we gently push the back of the knee just a little bit. It could be really, really strong. So do not force too much. Shouldn't be painful. Should be aching, broad aching sensation. And then slowly we bring the 5 toes down and feel some aching happening in the front of your leg. Again, I really enjoy it. Can start to walk both hands to the outside of the leg, getting a rotation. And very slowly, you can just let go of the blocks and walk the hands back all the way to the other leg. Again, we're going to plant the hands on the floor, send that leg back to the second down dog. Another down dog. On the very next breath, we're gonna take the leg that is far away from the camera to start and bring it up into the sky. And the very next breath, we bring that knee to the chest and plant the foot between our hands. And we're going to keep your the back leg strong, heel lifting, and slowly we scoop that hip forward and we rise one vertebrae at a time. We'll come all the way up to our first crescent lunge. Hands in front of your heart, relax the shoulders. We're going for 5 pauses to warm up further the front of the thigh. Going for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, stay. Push your belly in, hinge forward. Another 5, going for the twist. Again, you can just stay or come down into the twist, or we bring the elbow to the opposite knee. Going 5, center, 4, exhale, breathing center, 3, center, 2, center. Just one more rotation. Last one, now we're gonna stay. You can place your hand down if it's too much, or elbow to the outside of the knee. Energize the back leg. On the very next breath, hands on the floor, walk your hands all the way to the center of the feet to relax the one leg, just burning the sensations going down to that foot. One leg forward fold. Let the feeling run through your legs. Now turn the toes out, heels in, bend our knees, and sit back a little bit. Slowly let the upper body rise one vertebrae at a time. All the way to a big standing position. Exhale. We're going to hug the elbows to the outside, the rib cage, and then if you want to add more, just add a squat. And again, like a weightlifting, we're slowly breathing, push the ceiling away. And exhale, lower down and hug the elbow to the side of your rib cage. Breathe, and then we pretend we're pushing the ceiling away. And breathe out, we lower down. Going for 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. The very last one. And on the very next breath, we slowly relax the hands behind us. And we're going to lace the fingers, draw the knuckles down. If you want to, come a little further into that squat. And the very next breath, we send the sitting bones back. Adjust the feet. I like to bring my feet parallel to each other. Let your upper body fold. You can keep your arms laced, or you can separate your hands. On the very next breath, we relax our hands down. And I just love that feeling when the blood flow going into the hands. Now going to walk the hands all the way to the other leg. Just tip top the toes. And then we'll come into a crescent lunge on the other side. Bring your feet a little bit wider, like width. So as we start to come up, the feet, we're like standing on a train track. Breathe in, we add the upper body. From tailbone to the fingertips. And the next exhalation, hands in front of your heart. I made people's legs shake quite a bit today, this morning in the gym. They're asking, why my legs shaking? Yeah, we're going to make that the other leg shake too. So we're going to go for 5. Pauses, that's it. 4. This is my tighter side. It's going to complain to me a lot. Going for 2. Going for 1. Start to hinge forward. Again, choose the option. You start to feel the thigh. Breathe in. Breathe out, elbow to the opposite knee. Breathe. 5. In center. Go back. 4. Center. Exhale. Twist. 3. 2. And 1 more. 1 more. You can anchor the hand. Elbow outside of the leg. Power through the back leg and just breathe. Reach your heart forward. On the very next breath, relax your hands down and walk your hands all the way again to the middle of the legs. And breathe deep. The other leg is super warm. Now slowly we turn the toes in, toes out, heels in, then toe and knees and slowly rise again. Our very next breath, we find a goddess pose. So just for fun, if you want to, you're going to try to lift a heel and then the other, maybe one at a time, or let that hip go a little bit lower. So after we strengthen all the calf, we're going to strengthen the calf. And then maybe bring that heel down, lift the other heel, see how that feels. And then lower the hip. And back to the center, both heels up if you want to. And come a little bit lower. And lower both feet down, hands inside of your knees. Breathe in as we lift, push the chest forward and breathe out. Bring the shoulder to the opposite knee. Breathe in the center, breathe out the other side. And continue lengthening and twisting. Going for 1 more on each side. And we find the center, bring both hands down and adjust our feet so they're probably parallel to each other. You can always use a block for that one. Anchor one hand underneath your nose, so the center, the other hand on your low back, and then breathe in. One more time, we lengthen, and breathe out, we twist. Lots of twist today, not very cleansing. You can stretch that arm up into the sky or relax your hand on your low back. And then we switch side, switch hand. Again, lengthen before we twist. And exhale, we twist. Again, you can add an arm or not. And back to the center. And this time, we're going to walk both hands to one leg. Again, you can use the blocks or not. And when you find the leg or the ankle or the foot, now gently give it a hug. Bring the nose to knee. And slowly we walk our hands all the way to the other side. Again, we'll give the other leg a hug. And slowly we rest both hands down and just pick a side and go to that side. Free the firm leg back to down dog. Now on the very next breath, we slowly lower down onto our hands and knees and then go back again to child's pose. I really enjoy this child's pose. Feels nice. You can place your hands together into prayer. Walk the elbows away from the rest of the body. Let your forehead ground. You can add a little layer by place your elbows on the blocks. Leave space for the head to go through and palms together. And on the very next breath, we slowly relax the arms back and then slowly come back. Just gonna check the time and maybe we're ready for the roller or maybe we're not. I'm really thinking about using the roller for the thigh because an IT band because I think we have to work on it quite a bit. So try a very tight rolled out mat. Might or might not work. And depending on how tight you are, for me, I feel like I'm running my legs through broken glasses. That's how terribly tight the one of those IT bands is. So we start with our thigh, the front of the thigh. So you're gonna come back onto our forearms and to the top of the knee, all the way to the bottom of the hip. So you can bend your legs so you don't have to. Now, if this is already not affecting you so much, when I first start rolling it, it affects me so much, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I actually don't feel anything anymore. So if that's you, you can add on to a grasshopper. So maybe push onto your hands if your wrists are still okay. And then roll forward into the knee. As we roll back, we bend our knees. We're going for a chest push up. So elbows hugging the side of the body. And then come back. And then roll. And then going for that chaturanga push up. And then push back up. And exhale, let your chest descend. And if you still want to go for maybe 2 more. And the last one. Now, wherever you are, maybe let the belly fall and stretch your upper body, arms forward. And see which one feels better. I find stretch the legs feel a lot better because the weight of the legs, just a relaxed thighs on the roller. A gentle back bend. You can put the blocks underneath the knee. Doesn't have to be the roller. Think of something in the house might be able to replace it. Maybe 2 balls. If you have those, I don't know, basketball and some kind of balls. Now, very slowly, we're going to walk our hands back and we're going for the side. That's where the broken glass feeling comes into place for me. So coming to the side and elbow underneath the shoulder. So again, the bottom leg is the leg you're working on. The top leg, if you bring it forward, I notice you roll more toward the front of the IT band. You go back, you more toward the back of the IT band. So we're going to roll about 8 times. Good number. That's where I feel like super duper painful, but interestingly, I say use myself as a guinea pig. A lot of yoga practitioners, I have to say, doesn't have to be the instructor or teacher, but I just find using my body as a guinea pig and see how that feels, how painful it is. To start off, it's actually getting better. It's really, for me, I can localize that very tight spot. So if that's you, should hopefully work the same for me. So we're going for 3 more. Still really, really painful to the point that I'm sweaty. Going for 2. Ooh, ouch. And going for 1. Now, if it's really painful for you, please drink lots of water after this. So again, I'm just going to go straight forward to the other leg. IT band, the thickest fascia group of the body. If it's not tight, it's not normal. We just want to find a balance. So the other one, make sure you stay on the elbow. And this one's not as painful for me, not the dominant side. But still, again, 8 of them for good luck. Breathe. Now going for 4. 3. 2. Ouch. And the last one. Now one more, we're gonna go back onto the thighs, back onto the belly. And you can just completely come down to the belly. It doesn't have to use it. We're gonna pick up 1 foot from behind, keep the knee lifted, and doing a little bit more thigh stretch. And we let go that leg, switch arm, and stretch the other one too. And we're letting go, going back again to the IT band just a little bit later. So we come back, find a gentle child's pose, and just to counterbalance, release the low back. So if you do have the roller, or you can use the ball too, and you can rest your hands on the roller and then let your forehead fall. Now, on the very next breath, as we come back up, we're going to roll out the shoulder. Again, something to do every day, really. Once a day for about 7 to 8, 7 to 10 of them will really release the unnecessary discomfort and pain and tension. So hands support the back of the head. You can lift the hip and then keep your spine in the middle, engage your core, and just gonna do a back and forth. You can keep your elbow open slightly so we can still support the back of the head. And just gonna roll to the middle of your back all the way to the meaty part of your shoulder. And maybe for 2 more. And the very last one. Now from here, we're gonna roll toward the bottom of your shoulder blade. You can always lower down to your hip, but I find it's a little bit better just to keep the hip lifted. So we can start to open the elbow, and you can look back and lift your chest. And then express and start to bring that spine to move. And hug the elbows in and place your hip on the floor. Push your belly button down. Breathe in and slowly open. Maybe even open the front of your throat one more time and exhale, close. This one, feel like heaven. I hope you feel the same way. So much breath can go in and out the body. Let's go for 3. And 2. And the last one. Now from here, and we slowly roll back off the roller. And we're gonna let it go. Gonna go for one more at the thigh, and then maybe toward outside of the leg, so toward the IT band. So bring your feet about hip width apart, maybe wider, knees wider, and do some windshield wipe. You know, I'm gonna try to do that lying down dancer. I call it dancer pose, a lot like it. And slowly we're gonna bring both knees to one side. And then start to, again, the option number 1 is to place the front foot on top of the opposite knee, so outside of opposite knee. So gently push the knee down. The leg is rotating inward. You should feel stretching across the outside of the leg. Or the other option is more toward the front of the thigh, is to go for that extension of the leg. So choose the option today. I'm gonna choose my one is my favorite. So this one's not my favorite. So some days we want to choose a different option, see how that feels. Every obstacle is a learning opportunity. If we're looking at everything with the mentality of the half full instead of the half empty, look at things from a positive perspective instead of a negative, we're knowing there are always two sides to everything. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice and learning to be more positive and happier, more relaxed. Because our natural tendency for a lot of us is to worry, to see the other side. So sometimes it takes some training, just like we train our body, we practice yoga, we make our body stronger, more flexible. We train our mind as well. And on the very next breath, so we slowly bring everything back to the middle, let go of the foot. Not too bad after I chose the other option today. And we're going to bring the knees to the other side and we'll find the center. Again, two options. Choose the same option. This one's easy. The same as the other side. Whenever you're ready, we let go, slowly bring the knees back up. And again, feel free to windshield wipe just a few more times. Or at least we want is to keep the hip back to the center. And when you're ready, you can just stretch the legs heavy and long.